Good evening, and tonight we supposed to have children's rights campaigner, Jack Barnes. On Facebook, you probably know him as Misty. We're just trying to get him on. In the meantime, I want you to watch a video and see what you think.
To drive down mental health and the anger in the community of parents and children. And this is about the Men and Equalities Minister. To have equality in Parliament is really just one-sided. You've got the community babies here today, you've got the non-followers here today, and it should be all good. I've just had baby Jake turn up. Excellent, absolute excellent. So, bear with us, guys, we're going to start walking.
It's that good camera. It was brilliant.
They stopped me for section 1 of hate. I'm just going to ask them for one question.
The police are on edge at the minute because of what's going on. So everyone's under suspicion. So it's best just to answer the questions and then leave. Yeah?
Right, people, we need these numbers up, we need sharing, we need adding. You need to share it in groups that you don't even join. Just do it.
I'm not singling you out. You're fine.
Thank you.
A lot of people asking them a question, yeah, about they stopped me for longer.
Yeah. Because you're a young lad on a mountain bike around London, it raises concerns. You know, but you're here with us, you're safe. All right, they're not your enemy. Trust me. Right, let's go, guys.
Ready?
We're going to do this. A lot of people have let us down again.
Right, people, you know the do. Share it. Tag people, add people. We can't do it while we're live. You want to give children a voice? You want to do it? Let's do it. Come on. Just get it out there. Get it as much as you can. Not that person. No, I'm under instructions not to show that person what they're missing. Exactly. Yep.
Well, Jack, hello. How are you? I can't hear you. Hello.
How you doing, my friend?
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Steve. How you doing, mate?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Listen,
yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you, mate.
Brilliant. We were watching a video about you just now, and about when you were in London last week. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell everybody who don't know you yet, they probably should do, who are you and what you do?
My name's Scouse Megaphone Man. I'm a children's rights campaigner known as an Essex legend. I give children a voice. I go outside government establishment buildings to hold the professionals to account, to give children the best possible voice, and get them accountability for any wrongdoings.
Right. And why have you started all this off? Was it because, can you tell me a bit about your past?
Yeah, I can go into it, but due to my bail conditions, I can't go too deep into it because I've got on-call process.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So what
the
started
long
you off
story
then?
short
Yeah.
is my child was unlawfully taken,
Yeah.
and I campaigned for justice.
Right. Okay. And so
Yeah,
how
I
long
just
did
think
it?
that the system as a whole needs repairing. I think that the social care.
Right.
Sorry, say that again.
I was just saying, so how long did it take to get your
I
children
didn't
back?
get you.
How long did it take for your children to come back to you?
It took me 10 months.
10 months. And I bet you I bet you that was the worst 10 months you ever had.
We had 2-week reunification process.
Okay.
Gradually over 2 weeks.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Gosh. And now you're going out there fighting for everybody else's children, aren't you?
It is, especially when you see someone that you really love whining for the baby, but it's not there, She's just delivered.
Yeah, yeah. So, how many people are you trying to help at the moment then?
The children of the world.
All right, okay. Children of the world.
This is about children's rights. This is about repairing the broken system and driving down the anger and the mental health, not only in the children of the UK, but the parents and the grandparents. I think that court orders have been given out and they're seen as false hopes. I think that once the contact's failed, what happens is that the police are telling them that it's a civil matter, yet maintenance is a criminal matter. So there's hypocrisy in the orders of the court orders, and these parents haven't got no magic money tree to go back to court because they don't get legal aid. When you contact your local MP, they say they can't get involved in individual cases. Hence why we need a men and equalities minister in Parliament to make Parliament equality. I think that social care is going against the judiciary and the acts and statutes of Parliament. I think that if you're a service and you're practicing future risk of harm and you've got a part of the criminal justice system known as MAPA, rehome and paedophiles and child killers with new identities and new and secret locations on the expense of the taxpayer, I think it takes a mockery out of the people that lose kids in the family courts on the case of probabilities. I think that the social care practice itself is actually putting parents into trauma, and then the social care are actually assessing these parents while they're under the trauma they put them in. At the same time, these parents are in a legal battle. Now, this is going against the Acts and Statutes of Parliament and codes of practice of clarification for the Acts of Parliament. I think that when these children are taken, they're given families are given false hopes in. If you go to this assessment unit, then we can assess you. We see you as someone with learning disabilities and personality disorder. So what we want to do is put you in this centre where loads of people like you, and we can assess you, which again is putting that child at future risk of harm in that kind of environment to be assessed. They're not independent assessments. Hence why I would like to start my assessment units known as Boomerang, what are independent and are going to keep the money for the kids in the care system, hopefully reaching out to community children. So I do come with the hand of peace and the hand of solutions. I can actually prove malfeasance, along with lots of other serious criminal offences. And I just think that no one should be above the law in this country. I think that the system's a problem. The system's creating so much anger and mental health in parents, children, grandparents. And whenever there's a professional to be held to account, you meet professional avoidance. And this is from the local council all the way up to the top cabinet of the top 10. You get professional avoidance. And this isn't right because we give our sovereignty up for them to serve us. Parliamentarians have been swearing allegiances from 1866 to the Parliamentary Oath Act. We've had Justice Secretary after Justice Secretary swear allegiances to the heirs of the thrones of the country, and justice has not been upheld. in terms of Thurrock Council unlawful taking of children. I've emailed all the Justice Secretaries prior to Robert Buckland, and to no avail, you know, to the point where I've had to go on the street as megaphone man for accountability. I was in a 2015 election, and I thought that was my time to make change for kids. Obviously not, so I've had to power on for accountability, you know, transparency, and just embrace love, you know, spread the love, embrace humanity. And that's what we need to do in the UK. We need to repair the broken Britain. I think that if we repaired social care, I think the police's job would be 50 times easier.
Yeah, totally right. I tell you what, mate, you got balls, mate. Honestly, you know, I won't go out there with a tannoy, you know, and kind of like give social services what for. That won't be me. And there's a lot of people that won't do it.
My aim is to combat social care and make the police force be the best in the world.
Yeah. And well done on that. I reckon, you know, at the end of the day, you're a voice for everyone, you know? You know, you're a voice for everybody. So,
well, I've took myself on the streets. I've got two babies. I've got two babies there, baby Boo Boo and Princess. They're both twins. Yeah. These two children were born with a voice. And I'm also running alongside in my team, Apple What's It. Right. So they're them two are part of my team going forward for children's rights. I just think that this police force in this country, all the protesting that's going on, the COVID, plus domestic law, I think they're overstretched. I think they're being massively abused. This is the children's protector. We should all be embracing humanity, repair the broken Britain, make the police force be the best in the world. I mean, I'm thankful Boris has given 20,000 more police, but it just isn't enough. We need an initial 80,000. Bring all them long-term colleagues back and pull the morale back up in the police force, because we need to have a zero tolerance on crime. I think as a children's rights campaigner, I campaign for all paedophiles and child killers to go to the NHS labs to cure children's diseases and empty them jails, send all the foreign inmates back home to serve their sentences, give the police untold budget to have a zero tolerance on crime. We need impact centres up and down this country with police community support social workers within these impact centres, so they're not running around sorting out playground squabbles, because that's what they're doing at the minute. I think if we have these impact centres and these police community support social workers working in these impact centres, upholding court orders, etc., I think that we could have the best police force ever. And I think these impact centres could prevent future risk of harm instead of practicing future risk of harm. I'm about every grandparent and every mother and father having the slightest chance of seeing their children again, you know? Reunification.
Yeah, I know. It's bad, isn't it? I think, you know, so how many people actually follow you then, Jack? How many people come to when you do all your kind of like campaigns and everything? Does a lot of people follow you?
Yeah, a lot of people do follow me. What the problem is that we've got a lot of people on gagging orders. I'm able to speak out because I won my case. I've had 2 cases with the local authority and won both. So I'm not gagged. All these parents that are, they're scared. And most of the families up and down the country, they're held to ransom because they're living in a council house. And if they speak up, they're frightened they might lose their home, you know? Yeah. So these parents are actually living in trauma for the rest of their lives. You can't turn back adoption, and it's never going to go away for these parents, you know? I think that if we have these parents addressed and give them some proper constructive counselling, then the social workers are not going to be in again on a pre-birth assessment when they meet a new partner, you know? And this is what we've got. Constantly the same people going in and out of family courts, the targets by social workers. It just isn't right. These children are asked to come into this world. We've got fantastic social workers, but unfortunately, the bad far outweighs the good. Whether it might be a bonus or climbing up the ladder, it's happening. Social care is not meant to be for profit. My revolutionary ideas show that and reflect that in what I want to put on offer. I've give quite a few little me secrets away in terms of assessing the children every 6 months, having pre-service assessments for the professionals to keep the professionals professional. Once you've drained the swamp and you build on the good, you want to keep it good. So this assessment unit boomerang could be absolute amazing for the kids in the care system and reaching out to community children, which will put an ease on the social care budget back in the local authority. So when the DCLG fund the local council of social care, it's not wasted. Unfortunately, we've got extravagant wages. We've got a pyramid, lots of pyramids up and down this country, and they're known as the splinter groups to the councils, the local authorities. And you've got the council and the security at the top of that pyramid. And when you tip it upside down, you've got extravagant wages hierarchy at the top. And some of these chief executives in these councils are on nearly 3 times more than the Prime Minister. And the council's failing. This isn't right.
No.
The process, stage 1, 2, and 3 complaints process through the council is really passing the buck of blame, professional avoidance to the investigating officers doing the investigation for the complaints process. So it's not a fair adjudication through the complaints process, and then it's pushed onto the ombudsman. But unfortunately, when it's heard in court, the ombudsman can't listen to it, and the local authorities know this. I just think that the whole of social care needs to be tweaked. Yeah, I've got a good system, but it needs to be tweaked and changed. And we need to embrace humanity and make this police force be the best in the world. I've started embracing the police a lot more when I go out. And going forward, it's about police community support relations to give children the best possible foundation going forward to build on equality,
Yeah. Do you have respect? Do you have respect for the police?
A hell of a lot of respect for the police. The police, I was a pain in the bum for the police at one time. I left the care system. I was rack and ruin. And I always treated the police like every other young lad and girl, and treated the police like as an enemy. I turned the corner in my life, and then I realised that you can only make one phone call and 15 of them will turn up, and that's the police, the children's protector. So I do believe that throughout my whole disgruntled with the government, the only people I hold in high regard are judges and the police. And that says something. So going forward, it's about police budget, it's about police resource, it's about revolutionising the prison system to stop the revolving door of jail and putting these boys and girls on £40,000 a year programmes to recognise where they've gone wrong in jail and be reunificated with their loved ones. Because at the minute, they're just on that revolving door where they've got nowhere to live, they don't get legal aid, they can't see their kids. So what hope have they got to go and get a job? They haven't got no morale to go and get a job, The
trouble is, Jacko, we've got these paedophiles, they go into prison, right? And they come back out again and they commit the same offence. What do you think about that?
I think that we all take for granted what a fantastic force the hunters and the decoys are of social media. They're a big part of my revolutionary ideas going forward. And I'm seeing persistent, same people coming up on the live feeds, going to prison, coming out, getting caught again. I think that we should be going with the times. I'm not saying let's put them all up against the wall and shoot them all. I'm saying once you take a child's right, you haven't got a right. And if you're persistent on keep doing it, I think that we should have a debate on this. I actually put a parliament petition in for all paedophiles and child killers to go off to the NHS labs to cure children's diseases and stop animal testing. The reply back from Parliament was, are you having a joke? And everybody I mention it to, professionals, police, hospital, people on the street like the grassroots family, think it's a fantastic idea. I think that the taxpayers sick of it. The police haven't got enough money and resource to watch them. And when they're in prison, it's just a revolving door to some of them, I think that the child killers that are never getting out, people should have this in mind, we should be going with the times. God makes people every day. He doesn't make land. Unfortunately, because of what's going on in the planet and because of global warming, which is a big problem, I think that some land is uninhabitable for humans. So everyone, unfortunately, is migrating this way. Given what our government's been doing in the past, the migration's even more because of war. I just think that we're manning the earth, drilling it, fracking it, bombing it. This isn't right. I think that we all should be embracing humanity and spreading the love, feeling the love, and doing what's best for our future generations going forward. I mean, I spent nearly a whole day down at Parliament Square with my two babies, baby Princess and baby Boo Boo, to join forces with Extinction Rebellion because I'm about the future generations of our children.
Yeah.
So we're all on the same page, but we're not embracing it properly. I think that these politicians are dealing with the froth of Brexit, the froth of Corona, and it's just hypocritical. All the press releases we get, it's just giving mixed messages to the communities. And when you're putting hotlines in place for people to snitch on their neighbour, it's causing community tensions between each other. And this isn't right.
No.
This isn't right. They're playing Monopoly with our lives, and we would like comfortability. Drive down the anger and drive down the mental health right across the board. I think I'm the link for the children,
Yeah, and you should be employed by the government to sort it all out because I reckon you're brilliant, mate. And
Thank you so much, and I salute you, my friend.
Yeah, I reckon you're brilliant. I think what you're doing, I'm glad you're doing it because if it wasn't because of you, we won't be seeing any changes at all. Social services need to change. Everything needs to change, And what you do,
I mean, I've got revolutionary ideas. If I implemented one idea into social care, all you'd have to do is communicate it. It doesn't cost. And once we put this into place, I know we could save this country millions every day, week in, week out. And this is one of the biggest holes in the social care bag. I could go on all day plugging holes in the social care bag for the DCLG and the local councils. But why should I do it for free on social media? I need to use it as my feathers in my cap to give children the best possible voice and foundation with the police going forward for the future,
Yeah. I've seen you touch people's lives too. I can't remember a long time ago you met, kind of, was it disabled girls, I think, in a motorway station or a cafe? And and because you do so much, and people don't see that, so they don't see, what you're like as well. They see you going out to Parliament and whatnot, but they don't see the story behind you too. And I think you really do a good job. I'm really.
I mean, I'm not the type of person that'll go and give a homeless man food and take it and record it. I'm the type of person that I'd rather just go and give a homeless man some food.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
And that's today's age we live in now. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. You're seeing people running out buying loads of toilet rolls, and then you're seeing them on live feeds giving them out, saying, "Look how good I am."
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Jack, but we live in a world like that at the moment, mate. And it's going on.
That's due to Margaret Thatcher. I mean, selling all the council houses up. You created a Jonesy society. Don't play with them. They live in a council house, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just led on from that. I think the parents have been able to chastise their children, and that's been taken away from them. I think that kids have just become offhand a little bit in terms of knowing their rights and talking above and beyond themselves than their capabilities. Most youngsters these days just bark. They don't mean what they say, but you say some things in front of professionals and it raises alarm bells, So it's about turning these young lives around because they're going on to have children and they're unnecessarily getting caught in the crystal ball of social services. And this isn't right because it has a knock-on effect to grandparents. So all in all, the workload in social care that's unnecessary is massive. I think that it's been taken above and beyond by the professionals. I think that there's no accountability. They're allowed to leave the council and shed off and go to another council and carry on. And who's watching the watchman?
Well, you tell me. So, Jack, what changes do you want to see?
I want to see the police in society being more respected. I think that there's a lot of people up and down the country doing their own demonstrations, awareness days, and protesting, and all I can see is the police being abused. I think that police are being abused not only by the street but by the government, where they're expecting far too much on the budget they get. I think that me going outside the Justice Secretary, I was heard. And I do believe these politicians are actually acting upon it. And I can only admire what they say today at the dispatch box, because I've been watching closely, because it is about revolutionising children's services and social care and combating social care and turning it around for the better, for the future generations, you know.
Yeah, brilliant. So what's your next step? What you up to next?
I'm out in the next couple of weeks with Baby Boo Boo and Baby Princess in town centres, up and down high streets, just to build community relations with with youngsters and the families, and you know, try and raise awareness to children's rights and the Baby Boo Boo, and try and make change, embrace humanity, for equality, and spreading the love. You know, getting people to feel the love. Having these two big 8-foot babies is making it a little bit easier for me, and having Apple What's It is a big part of me going forward. It's just good. We can feel it moving forward, and I think it's going forward in the right direction for the positive reasons. You know.
Brilliant, really good. I reckon, you know, you're gonna get somewhere. I reckon you should be the next MP or something. You know what I mean?
Well, I've actually got I've actually got a Just Giving page up for Baby Boo Boo. I don't know if anybody wants to go away and look at that, but that is to obtain a float so we could get up and down the country into the high streets to build community relations with the police and the babies, to try and turn around society. You know, because I would like a comfortable society with the combat social care, untold budget for the police, and start turning these lads and boys and girls' lives around in jail for when they get out.
Okay.
Working with the impact centres.
We will share that Just Giving page.
The Just Giving page is for to get a float, because Baby Boo Boo and Baby Princess have got many friends they'd like to bring along with them, to build community relations in the high streets up and down the country. I think the children will love it. I think the grandparents and the mums and dads will love it. And I think the police in every town would want to come along to embrace it as well, you know?
Yeah, I've got a question for you here. Have you ever been nicked from the police while campaigning?
I've only been arrested once, and I'm in court process for that. I'm back in court on the 12th of next month for sentencing. I've actually been found guilty of a crime, and my bail conditions allow me to do the very same thing. So I'm back in court for sentencing. Given on the outcome of that, I'm going to be appealing, and then we'll take it to the next level, you know. But due to my bail conditions, I can't go into the realms of it.
No,
but I'd like to, but I can't.
No, I won't allow you on here. I won't allow you to do it. Also, I would, but you know, but we both get done.
There'll be a time. Catch your monkey slowly.
Yeah,
make it dance again.
Don't you worry. George says, when you're doing, sorry, what did he tell you? Oh, hang on for a second. I've got a lot of questions here, loads of it's coming in. Yeah, George is saying, how long have you been doing it? Why are you doing it? And the trouble is, I think Jack's answered every question about that, you know. And
I started in 2012.
Yeah, and so he started in 2012, didn't you? And he's still going now. He's not going to give up for anybody.
I mean, I've said the same thing. I've been saying it in different ways, beating the drum. I've gained many loyal followers in the name of children's rights. Save our children. I'm very popular in America. So I'm doing the right things. I'm making the right waves. And the kids in the care system, they're smiling already because they know who I am. A lad joined me from the care system at Parliament, really enjoyed himself, kept out of trouble, and it was a success for him going forward, you know.
Yeah. Have you met many MPs?
I have met quite a lot of MPs. If you Google Jack Barnes Thorrock or 2015 election, you will see that I've met Theresa May, Chris Grayling, Elizabeth Truss, Vicky Ford, James Brokenshire. I mean, I could go on. David Amos. And the thing is, I told all these MPs and give them one of my leaflets. And the more people I tell, parliamentarians, local council, chief executives and leaders, if they don't act, it is seen in my eyes as misfeasance.
Yeah.
And that's serious, you know, in itself.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. What was the idea with Baby Boo Boo?
I just wanted to take protesting to another level. I've always been about stay on the model high ground. I've got no isms and asms about me. I'm not left wing, I'm not right wing, I'm straight down the middle. And I just look back and think every hours I can see now is people protesting, demonstrating, having an awareness days, and it turns into abusing the police. So it's about raising it to the next level and making protesting fun. By incorporating the two babies, joining Extinction Rebellion with the ticking clock, because the clock you can't stop. And the Scouts Megaphone Man clock is ticking away, I'm afraid, and you know, it ain't going to be long before the bell rings. Should I say?
Yeah. Oh, well, I want Mike to be there. Right then, what else we got? Misty, you're speaking the truth. Well done, well done. Well done. What's the worst place you ever campaigned to? What's the worst place you ever been? What's the worst place you ever been?
The worst place I've ever been?
Yeah.
Boarding school. Secure unit. On the megaphone? The worst place I've ever been?
Yeah.
There isn't anywhere. There isn't anywhere. I am passion, which is the children's word. Frustrated at the same time, passionate. And it doesn't bring my morale down when loads of people say they're going to go and they don't turn up. I fundraise from Liverpool to London. I climb mountains. It doesn't take me morale if I don't get donations. I crack on because I know I've been cracking an egg from the inside. I've been born and become, hopefully, something brilliant for kids.
Yeah, but
going forward.
You must get frustrated,
future, you know?
You must get frustrated when people. It's like me. I've said a few times that I might come and join you, and I'm so sorry about that. Other things have taken.
Don't worry.
And it's like anything else. It is. But the trouble is, but I do apologise. But you must get frustrated when people do say to you, "Oh, Jack, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll meet you there tomorrow," and everything like that. And when you come there, I see your disappointment on your face because I can see you're going, "Well, there's no one here again." And does that get you down?
It does, but it's just like a fight. You bite down on your gum shield and you keep on going at it. Eventually, it's got to go.
Yeah.
We're all human and we're playing the same game. And to be able to control my emotions is because I've always expected the unexpected throughout my life, because I've always been the failed looked after child, the one that's always been held to account. I just think that if I keep plugging on with it, staying on the model high ground, then I'm going to get there eventually. It is frustrating. It does make you angry, but all it does is make me perform better on that megaphone, I'm afraid.
Does your wife get fed up with it?
She's not my wife, but she's my wife to be. We've been together for 15 years.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right, don't be. I think that going through this process has made us strong. We've only had really a 4 or 5 year proper relationship. The rest of the time's been fighting for justice, you know, and campaigning. So this is about us as a family, because, you know, you've got to get your own house in order. You've got to make sure you're on point so no one can pull you apart regarding your school's education, your education for your kids, and you've got to do it properly. And I think I've done that as a family. We love doing it. My children are my legacy going forward for children's rights, you know.
Yeah, I've seen you when you did the canoe, the sponsorship, when you were in the canoe with the kids and the family and everything.
Yeah, I canoed from Liverpool to London on the British waterways, the canals. 220 locks, 223 miles, and we've done that as a family. 23 days camping.
That's it.
And that just put 2-3 years mentally on my children. And they still talk about it today, you know. They do, they love it. I'm meant to be doing it next year. I've got my sponsors in my legal teams that are willing to sponsor me and push me forward. So I am going to be doing it from Liverpool to London again to raise money for kids in the care system in the 6-week school period of 2021.
Yeah. Finally, what do you think about this Corona business?
I'd like to keep my opinions to myself, but regarding the hypocrisy surrounding the press releases,
Come
it
on,
doesn't
Jack.
look
Come
good.
on. I want your opinion. Come on.
They're getting people putting these masks on. I think that's just like trying to stop a mosquito trying to go through a hula hoop. I think that the country didn't do this when it was Ebola.
Yeah.
It didn't do this. I think that it creates a hell of a lot of dialogue, testing and tracing. I think that there's a lot of people that's not getting tested, and they need to be tested to be going back to work. I think the fair long and the test and trace is going to have a massive knock-on effect to the employment situation, which is going to have a massive housing crisis in the UK, homeless housing crisis on the back of that. I think that social services are going to be overrun. I think that if these politicians don't get it right, Matt Hancock and such other, it's going to go to pot. We can blame Jeremy Hunt for what he did, building up the funding gap in the NHS, doing a reverse on his manifest, blaming everyone else but himself. Comes up with his idea of part combining social care with the NHS. Bad idea. Social workers are pushed to stop the bed block and late discharges and transfers in the hospitals. So unfortunately, they're losing social care because of Simon Stevens finding them with his governing body within the NHS. So I think that overall, I think if it was looked into properly and we tweaked it properly, I think it could be good, you know, because at the minute, because of Fairlong, I think we're going to have a hell of a lot of people taking up NHS jobs, what are not there for love. They're there to pay a mortgage. And we don't want this. We want to bring all them love and NHS people back, you know. That's what we should be focusing on. Equality, embracing humanity and spreading the love and feeling the love for the future sake of our future generations, you know.
Brilliant. Thank you. Jack, thank you very much.
No worries.
You're the man. At least at least you kind of like tells it as it is, you know. You don't hide behind people, or you don't hide behind words, you know.
I'm not a script. I'm not one to pick up a phone or pick up a piece of paper. I am actually passion for change, frustrated at the same time, passionate. I think that going forward, if everybody would like to take a look at the Just Giving page for Boo Boo to get a float, I think that getting that float will make a hell of a lot of parents, grandparents and children smile, knowing that there's someone there in the name of Scouse Megaphone Man, the children's rights campaigner, who is there for the right reasons. I've got my trophies in terms of my children. I do what I do to combat my PTSD, and that's to combat social care. Once I've done that, I'm the happiest man alive. I think that what I'm doing under trauma is massive. So what can I do when I'm relaxed?
That's it. And how can people contact you?
People can contact me through Facebook, Misty Barnes on Facebook, @1misty on Twitter. I've got Apple What's-It, if anyone wants to get through to me on there. And my right-hand man, Jason Appleyard. He's a big part of me going forward on social media and on the street and on podcast. That's Apple What's-It. He helps a lot of families through the court to relieve the pressure off me, so I can concentrate on doing what I do, because I get a hell of a lot of messages of help, and I send them in that direction to Jason, you know, because he's a wonderful guy, he's a wonderful friend of mine, and I think that as a one big team, I think we could conquer this, you know.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for your time. You probably were
Thank
busy.
you so much.
And thank you very much. And hopefully we see you again sometime.
Yeah, you will do, Steve. You know me. I'm a friend of yours. It's nice to see you and nice to be on your show. And let's just see if it makes a difference, you know, because that's what it's all about.
It will, because we get it out there, so we get, you know, I'm not afraid no more to come on camera. That's why I do it. I just come on as I am. I don't care about anybody. This is me.
If any celebrities see this live feed, I do hire out Boo Boo and Princess to celebrities, and that is the aim with the two babies, just to get these babies notoriety all around the world, you know, in the name of children's rights to save our children.
Right. Okay. I will put all that down on our website. 'Cause we've got a website and all our pages, and we get it out there. Thank
Thanks
you
so
very
much,
much.
Steve.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye. Well, there you go. I think, you know, sometimes we got to speak out what we believe in. You know, it's no good hiding behind bushes, no good hiding behind, you know, other people. We've got to say what it is. And I think what Jack is doing, he's saying it as it is, and he's telling people what it is, and that's the way to go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for taking part for all the questions and everything. Um, until I, until again, until next week, I will see you later. Take care. Bye bye.